Today I'm going to present this paper, Constrained After College, Student Loans and Early Career Occupational Choices by Rothstein and Rouse, which is a paper published in 2010, which aim is to estimate the effect of student debt on their academic decision during and post-college. Why do I choose this paper? Because I think that talking about the choice of a job depending on salary and on budget constraint is a very actual argument, and so I get curious about. Before going on with our presentation, let's do a brief overview of what we are going to see together. The main question of the paper is this one you can read on the slide. Do loans took out during college affect job decision? To answer to this question, we will see. I will give you, firstly, an introduction to the student loan system, and we will see which are the ways in which students can be financially helped. Then we'll go in depth with the ANONU case, where ANONU stands for Anonymous University. And then we will see the model that the authors worked out to estimate this effect and to answer to our main question, and some results and some conclusion. And in the very last slide, we'll try to generalize our findings. So, what you have to know is that in recent years, the return to a college degree has risen substantially, and the cost of an higher education has increased even more quickly. These two components led the financial aid to become more and more important. The student debt has only an income effect, as you can see from the slide, but it is unlikely to represent more than 1% of a college graduate entire lifetime earnings. And so we should expect, for rationality, that the debt has only a very small effect on their life. But we'll see in the results that this hypothesis is not supported. In literature, also Bowman O'Malley in 2003 estimated that 17% of students who took out a loan said that the debt significantly impacted their career choice. In particular, they were oriented towards more lucrative post-graduation jobs than would be otherwise optimal. How do colleges determine student financial aid packages? By computing the EFC, which is the expected family contribution, which measures the family's ability to pay. And whenever the EFC is under the annual cost of attendance of the university, the student is judged to need aid. There are two self-help components to receive aid. The first one is working in a campus job during the term, and the second one is a financial aid, a financial loan. So, in 2001, ANONU, which remember was Anonymous University, which is one of the most selective and expensive college in the United States, decides to make an experiment. It implemented a no-loan policy, according to which the loan component of the financial aid was entirely replaced with the grants. So what happened? From the figure we can see that starting from 2001, which is the year of the policy, of implementation of the policy, loan collapsed because of the policy, and that needs and grants have the same trend. Needs are increasing because of the increasing cost of attendance of the university, and grants are increasing because of the policy, because they have to replace the loans. And beneficiaries cut it back only a little on campus work. In fact, we don't notice any significant effect. Remember that we want to estimate the effect of debt in two periods, during and post-college. So we have to distinguish between two periods, a pre-reform period from 1999 to 2001 and a post-reform period in which the policy was fully implemented from 2005 to 2006. Only for simplicity, we don't take into account the partially affected period from 2002 to 2004. To estimate this effect, the authors make use of a difference in differences analysis, which is a statistical technique according to which they show the comparison on the average change in the outcome, both for the treatment group and for the control group. The treatment group and control group are simply the students who receive aid and who didn't receive aid. So let's see together the main variable they took into account. Well, Y is the outcome for student I from cohort C, where cohort is simply the period. We assume that the pre-reform period is the earlier cohort and the post-reform period is the later cohort. Then post and need, which are two indicators, and D is simply the debt. The interaction between the two indicators, post and need, serves as an instrument to compute the debt. So, in the table we can see the comparison from the two cohorts. In particular, in column 1 and 2, the authors show the average characteristics for students who didn't receive needs and who did receive needs. For the earlier cohort, column 3 and 4 show the same, but for the later cohort. Then in 5 and 6 we can see the change between the two groups, and in column 7 we see simply the differences. So the difference between column 5 and 6. An important SAT that you can read here in the table, it refers simply to originally was Scholastic Aptitude Test and now simply SAT, refers to the SAT score, which is a standardized test widely used in the United States for admission in colleges. And they are increasing, and so this reflects the increasing in competitiveness within the university. Another important thing is that, I don't know if you can read, family income has increased by an amount of about 8%, and so did the family contribution, remember EOC per year, by an amount of a bit less than $900. But despite this, however, the needs are increasing too, by an amount of over $12,000. And these reflect the increasing in the cost of attendance of an but what I want to highlight here is the overall effect of the policy. In fact, we can see that the total loans have a huge decrease from more than $15,000 to less than $3,500 for a change, for a difference that you can read here in column 7. Let's go to the second part of our analysis, which is the salary. Here the authors distinguish between high salary jobs and low salary jobs, underlined in green, this one in red. And they demonstrate that we can see here there is a huge decrease for higher salary jobs and a huge increase of low salary jobs and even no profit. And we didn't talk about students who didn't receive need because there is no significant effect, but we see, yes, significant effects for the students who received it. And so we should conclude that the students, when the students don't have to face the debt, they are more incentivized in choosing lower salary jobs and even no profit. In same terms, in other terms, we can say that they are less incentivized in choosing high salary jobs when they don't need to repay the debt. And to estimate this effect, the authors make use both of the SAT score and of some kind of exit surveys, which are surveys made during the last week of classes about future career plans of students. So in conclusion, we can say that when students were relieved from the need to incur in debt, they shift toward lower salary jobs. And another very important conclusion is that, remember at the beginning I told you that student debt is unlikely to represent more than 1% of the entire lifetime earnings of a student, and so for rationality, this debt should not have any significant effect. And but this was not supported by the result, as we have seen, and so we can collocate this paper in the literature of evidence that consumer behavior is poorly characterized by the life cycle model. And the very last slide, at this point we could ask ourselves if this result could be extended to typical college students. The answer is yes. There are several reasons, good reasons, to think that these results could be even larger for typical students than anonymous ones. These several reasons are mainly four. The first one is that anonymous debt are levels of debt are relatively lower than other schools. So we could think that for a higher level of debt, the effect produced is even higher. The second one is that anonymous students earn higher salaries, and so they could be less constrained than typical college students. The third one is that family anonymous students' parents are typically richer than the others, because remember I told you that ANONU is a very expensive college. It's one of the most expensive among the United States, and so they could be able to offer to their sons intra-family loans in order to smooth consumption over the years and don't produce distortion on employment. The last conclusion is that according to rationality, the anonymous students have higher SAT scores than the others, and so an higher rationality in making choice could be useful to them in order to to avoid the effect of debt on their career. Thank you.